Welcome back to UNFUNK Your Soul. It has been a hot minute. I realise I've not recorded an episode for a while. So, over the last few weeks, especially, I've been really drilling down, embedding what UNFUNK Your Soul is all about. Now, my primary aim is to introduce you to different mind body practices to help you unearth, uncover, to peel away the layers, to ultimately find acceptance within ourselves. We are our harshest critics, and if we can find ways to quieten that inner voice, to realize our full potential, we can start unfunking. We can start becoming who we're meant to be, who we've been all along, but society has dictated that we shouldn't show up loud or we shouldn't have these interests, that we shouldn't, a lot of the times, when we should do all that we want with all that we can whenever we want. We shouldn't have to be dictated to or feel as though society will frown upon us if we don't follow a certain path. So especially over the last few weeks, I really, like I say, I've gone back to basics. I've started to reestablish, reconnect to why I'm here. Why am I on this platform? Why am I doing the work to unfunk myself? Why and how have I come to that conclusion that I need unfunking in the first place? So what I thought, I've been doing some work around what lights me up, what makes me feel like me. As I always say, music is such a big part of my journey, of my life, how I connect with myself and connect with others, or not, if they have different music tastes to me. And how I use music and use movement to integrate that motion, that movement, that connection. And then to top it all, the cherry on the cake is meditation. So I've re-established the three pillars of Unfunk Your Soul. So you may notice as you tune into these other episodes, or if you follow me on social media, I'm really going to start embedding those principles because I think they're fundamental in my journey, fundamental in how I wish to turn up for you as a community. So it's reestablishing those three pillars. So that's your music, movement, and meditation. So if I strip that back and how that's come about, but then also so you can get that clarity around those three pillars and how I can foresee that progressing and moving forward from this point. Okay. So music. Now I like to think of myself as a raver. Not that I've been to many raves in my life, but I love the connection of a dance floor. I love how you can get lost in a song, in dance, in that moment. You just feel euphoric when that bass hits or bass drops, and you're just like, oh, you could be anywhere. You're pain free, you've got no care in the world, you're purely immersed in that present moment, in that track, in those beats, in that dance floor. You can't get any more present than that. So when we make that connection with that music and how that then reverberates through our bodies, through our heart, minds, soul. It is spiritual. The dance floor is a spiritual place. You're connected to something bigger, something bolder, the music. And when you get into the science of music, it's all linked to those hormones that we have in our bodies, like connection to strangers, being anonymous on a dance floor. I mean, you could go to some of these places, you could travel from city to city or country to country and go to a rave or a discotheque, however you want to, however you want to frame it. You could be in a room full of strangers, but through music, you experience that deep sense of connection to yourself, but also connection to that beating throb of the dance floor. You're moving in synchronicity, and it's that kind of connection. And that all links into oxytocin. There's that love hormone. Your body is vibrating at a frequency, and then you're feeling that deep love hormone, you're expanding that outwards. Your heart has an electromagnetic field and it can expand up to 3 foot away from you. So when you're on a crowded dance floor and you're all in love in that moment, the room is feeling it. The energy, the cells, everything's vibrating around you. That's why you feel so good. So why would you not want more of it? So as you can connect with those love hormones, connecting with these other people, these strangers on the dance floor, you feel happy in that moment. So even if life's shit as it can be, in that moment you feel blissful, you feel ageless, you feel a deep sense of connection and love. Music. And as we go through the different types of music, so like I say, I'm a bit of a dance music fiend. Although I do love my 90s dance, and I do admit I am a bit kind of stuck on that. But I discovered in the summer a love of drum and bass. Who knew that I could even even contemplate that? And I think it's just that kind of like you've got that beat to it, and then if you can find the beat, and then you've got the lyrics, and I am a lyric fiend, and I do like good harmony. Um, so yeah, so drum and bass, that's something else that I never knew that I even liked. Um, so yes, it's finding the different types of music you can connect with, whether that's connecting on the dance floor, connecting with the lyrics. Um, you'll find that music can give a voice to your feelings. So if you don't really know how to articulate how you're feeling, or you're struggling to find the right words in any situation, a song in that moment could give voice to those feelings. And you can always share a song with somebody, even if, if there's a certain song that comes to mind when you think about somebody, or you come across the track and you think this would really help someone in this particular moment that what they may be experiencing. You can share music, and whether that's classical, garage, techno, heavy metal, whatever your genre of choice is that you're connecting. So whether that's the lyrics, the beat, the movement, the just escapism, you're connecting on a level that is far beyond the physical. You can't always touch it. You can't touch it, but you can feel it. You can feel it deep within. Certain songs will get you and will evoke deep, deep emotions. That's going right into your body. You are feeling it. That's powerful. So it's how we can use music to express ourselves, how we can use music to connect with ourselves. And that's why it's one of my pillars in Unfunk Your Soul. So the next pillar, like I do say, movement. Now, movement can be anything you want it to be. I'm not as agile as I once was, even though I like to think I am, I'm not. And movement, although I like dancing on a dance floor, I'm not a trained dancer. I think I've always felt a little confined by being told what to do. I'd rather just feel and be a bit more intuitive with the music, with the beat, how I'm feeling in that moment. But movement, however that is for you, whether that's walking, running, dancing, whether you're trained or not, yoga, swimming, however you can get some movement into your day, it will, I guarantee, it will shift your mood, it will shift your mindset, whatever that movement is, even if it's hoovering. Because not only are you getting those feel good hormones from movement, you're also getting that hit of dopamine because you've achieved something. So even if you clean your bathroom, it's still movement. Add that with some banging tunes, you've got connection. So even if you're on your own cleaning, listening to music, you're still, those hormones, those neurotransmitters are pinging all over the place. And movement doesn't have to be difficult. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be challenge. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need the latest trainers. You don't need the latest fitness equipment. You don't need a Peloton. You don't even need a bike. If you can, if you struggle with mobility and getting up and down may be a problem, you may find it difficult. How could you implement some movement to your day that is gentle? And if you've got mobility in your the top half of your body, so within your torso and with your arms, you can always do that heart opening movement where you're creating that movement and opening across your chest. And if you can move your hands above your head, again opening across the chest, across the heart space. That's such a powerful movement that you could still be seated doing that. You don't have to stand. And if you struggle with upper mobility, but you can move your lower body, just try this gentle rises up and down in your seat. That gentle side step. Or if you can, lift in a leg. Just to try and get some movement. So if you're listening to music and just having that kind of foot tapping, because however you interpret the music, however you feel the music, it's just allowing yourself to go with it and leaning into the power of that movement and how that can shift that energy, that stagnant energy in your body, but how you can change it, how you can bring some motion into the body. And that helps you then feel emotion as well. It helps you process emotion. So think about how you can bring some movement each day into your life. I'll give you some examples there. You might have some other examples, and I'd love to hear them as well. So if you have got any of the examples of how you incorporate daily movement, then let me know. So then another principle is meditation. Now, don't go all, but I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. Meditation can be all different things. You don't have to follow a set modality, a set teaching. Just as we breathe, you can meditate with the breath. You need that little focus, and the focus could be your breath. Focus could be as you're drinking your cup of tea. In that moment, having your awareness on something. So whether that's your breath, whether that's drinking your cup of tea, whether that is walking without distraction. And if you can sit there in stillness, in silence, fine. But if you'd like to connect with some music and give that song, melody, your undivided attention for the 3, for 5 minutes as that track. Breathing steadily, gently, just allowing yourself to flow with the melody, the lyrics. That can be your meditation. If you want to have more of a structured approach to your meditation, you can go into your practice with a little movement. That helps to release any pent up energy. It helps settle your body. Because if you're coming rushing from here, there, and everywhere, then you would suddenly want to put the brakes on and stop and do some meditation. It's not going to happen. Your body's all pepped, all hyped, all ready for the next thing that's coming. Then all of a sudden you're going to stop. It's like, oh, hold on a minute. I'm not ready to stop yet. Let me just pique your attention to this point of your body. Let me just make a list. You need to do this, you need to do that, all this sense of urgency. So if you can get into that easing, slowing down into your meditation, whatever meditation you're going to be doing, that can help with that gentle calming, soothing of the nervous system, that easing, slowing down from that. Not even, I wouldn't say a stress state, but slowing down, easing into it. You know, as you're approaching a roundabout, if you drive, you slow down to get to the roundabout, and then you decide on which way you're going to go. Yeah, well, some people stop and go. As in, one of my children do that. They drive, they stop rather than slow down. So you think about how you can approach meditation. Don't frame it as meditation if that helps. Sometimes just the word meditation on its own can have people thinking, oh, almost like I can't do it because of the preconceived ideas of it and what they may have seen or what they believe it to be, or they may have tried it and have thought that it was unsuccessful. But there's so many different types of meditation. I've given you just a few examples of how you can meditate without actually meditating or giving it the label of meditating. But there's so many other methods, teachings of meditation. For you to have tried every one, you'd be here for an awful long time. And there may be certain elements and principles that you like from certain teachings. Then take them with you. You don't have to follow any one particular teaching religiously. I've shared before that when I first discovered meditation, I was taught the principles of mindfulness meditation by a company that Google used, or no, Google had developed a mindfulness meditation program called Search Inside Yourself. And it was around the principles of mindfulness. So that's how I was introduced to meditation in 2015, was through that. And that was a lot of walking mindfully, eating mindfully, just being more aware of how we are in that moment. And that was in 2015. So what's that, 9 years ago? I had never heard of meditation, or maybe I had, but it's certainly never been on my radar. But when I sat down there and had like 2 days of this training, by the end of it, you could say that I was, seeing the light. I'd become a lot more in tune with myself, so much so that I was on the hunt for different meditation. I need to do all these different courses. I'd seen the light. This is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to connect with myself. So then that opened the doors and the exploration of me wanting to do more, to learn more. And that's what led me then to attend some courses at a Buddhist meditation center, which then even I was able then to connect a little more deeper. But in attending those courses, I never really got the understanding of what was happening to my body and why. I just enjoyed those quiet moments and the nothingness that was in my head at the time. when I would do the courses and I'd connect and I'd see lights, I'd have these feelings of coolness, of warmth, and I had no idea what what was happening on a physiological level or an intuitive soul-led level. I didn't have the kind of teachings behind the practices that I was learning through the meditation, through Buddhism. Although I was quite interested in the idea of kismet and karma, things like that. So at the time, that's what I needed. That's what I drew comfort from, was that deeper connection to self, that sense of calm, and also that kind of reaffirming my connection to the greater universe and how it supports us, and having that deep sense of faith in that. So I think everything came at the right time for me when I was open to that exploration, when I was ready to take that time to sit in silence, to sit with my thoughts. Right, that was around the time when I started journaling as well, I think. So meditation has been probably the third, how I've probably thought about these three pillars to unfunk your soul. Meditation was the third and final piece of the puzzle. And when you put it all together, it's only created a bigger ripple of change within me. But it's like acceptance as well, and doing more of what lights me up will then light up everybody else as well. And that's what I'm looking for as well. That's what I'm seeking. That's what I'm hoping that you will gain from the sessions that I deliver, from the how I turn up is very much is about it's just me. And people think that when you sit here in front of a camera or sit or stand in front of a crowd, that you've got a big personality or you're overly confident. And it's not even that. It's just, I feel as though I have something to say. I feel as though I have something to bring. I think we spend too long worrying about what other people perceive or think of us. I'm just turning up as me. And if I'm a little loud, or I'm not always loud because sometimes I can be really quiet, quite introvert, but I'm quite deep as well. And I kind of associate that introvertness, if that's the word, with going deep and connecting with myself a little more. So sometimes if I'm in certain situations, I can feel a little overwhelmed by the different types of energy that's going around. And it doesn't sit easy with me. And I prefer then to perhaps take some time out to think, this isn't for me. And giving myself permission to think that, to feel that, and also then to step away from it as well. And I do that a lot more these days. I'm not too hung up on other people's perception of it, because I'm going by with how I'm feeling in that moment. And if I'm feeling a little uncomfortable or a little overwhelmed by the energies, it's best if I take a step back or take a step out or to the sidelines. And I'm all for letting people shine. And as I'm leaning into that energy, that disco ball energy, I think that just sums me up, to be fair. I'm a bit obsessed with disco balls at the moment. I was having a conversation with my daughter last week, and we'd gone for something to eat. And I'd seen, and I'm a bit obsessed, like I say, I'm a bit obsessed with disco balls. And I've seen a disco ball, and I was like, this is a sign. This is how I want to turn up in the world. And as we were leaving the place, I kept on still talking about disco balls. And I goes, oh, look at that one there. Like, that's what I've got. I've got like a plant pot, which is a disco ball. And I was like, well, look. And I was giving it all these big hands and everything else, these big gestures. And my daughter says, and look at you, you're stood right under a disco ball. And I didn't even know it was there. So if that is ever a sign that anyone needs, it's what I needed in that moment. A disco, and one of my posts I put this recently was that I'm a disco ball of in imperfections, refusing to dim my light. That is my new slogan of thought, energy that I'm leaning into, is that I'm refusing to dim my light. And part of that is turning up, putting on different events, and seeing how I can support you in your unfunking as I've unfunked my soul.